A. Give two other names for line DE in plane C. And B. Name 3 points that are collinear. Name 4 points that are coplanar. In part A, to give two other names for line DE, first locate line DE on the diagram. Now, from the diagram, you can see that line DE is labeled with an R. So, one other name for line DE is line R. You can also name a line by using any 2 points on the line. 2 points on line DE are points E and D. So, another name for line DE is line ED. Next, to name a plane, you can use 3 points in the plane that are not all on the same line. From the diagram, you can see that points D, E, and F all lie in plane C. Points D and E lie on line R, but point F does not lie on this same line. Therefore, one other name for plane C is plane DEF. In addition, points A, E, and F all lie on plane C. Points A and E both lie on line R, but point F does not lie on this same line. So, another name for plane C is plane AEF. In part B, 3 points are collinear if they lie on the same line. From the diagram, you can see that points D, A, and E all lie on line R. Therefore, points D, A, and E are collinear. Next, points are coplanar if they lie in the same plane. From the diagram, you can see that points D, A, E, and F all lie in plane C. Therefore, points D, A, E, and F are coplanar. A. Give another name for segment TR, and B. Name all rays with endpoint P. Which of these rays are opposite rays? In part A, to name a segment, you can use the 2 endpoints listed in either order. For segment TR, the endpoints are T and R. So, another name for segment TR is segment RT. In part B, to name a ray, you can list the endpoint followed by another point that lies on the ray. In this problem, to name all rays with endpoint P, first locate point P on the diagram. Now, one ray on this diagram consists of endpoint P and all points on line PQ that lie on the same side of P as Q. So, you can name this ray Ray PQ. Next, a second ray consists of endpoint P and all the points on line PR that lie on the same side of P as R. So, you can name this ray Ray PR. A third ray on the diagram consists of endpoint P and all the points that lie on the same side of P as S. So you can name this ray ray PS. Finally, a fourth ray on the diagram consists of endpoint P and all the points on line PT that lie on the same side of P as T. So you can name this ray ray PT. This gives you a list of all the rays with endpoint P. Now, two rays are opposite rays if they have the same endpoint and are collinear. From the diagram, you can see that ray PQ and ray PS both have the same endpoint P and are collinear. So, ray PQ and ray PS are opposite rays. In addition, ray PR and ray PT both have the same endpoint P and are collinear. Therefore, ray PR and ray PT are opposite rays as well. A. Sketch two intersecting lines, A and B, that lie in plane W. B. Sketch line D that intersects plane D in only one point. Label the point A. And C. Sketch a plane X that contains line PQ and a point B not on line PQ. To draw the sketch in part A, first draw a plane and label it plane W. Next, draw a line that lies in plane W and label it line A. Finally, draw a second line that lies in plane W and intersects line A. Label this line line B. This gives you a sketch of two intersecting lines, A and B, that lie in plane W. Next, to draw the sketch in part B, first draw a plane and label it plane D. Next, draw a line that intersects plane D in only one point and label this line line D. Finally, label the intersection of plane D and line D as point A. This gives you a sketch of line D that intersects plane D in only one point, point A. Finally, to draw the sketch in part C, first draw a plane and label it plane X. Next, draw a line that lies in plane X and contains points P and Q. Finally, draw a point that lies in plane X but not on line PQ. Label this point point B. This gives you a sketch of plane X that contains line PQ and a point B not on line PQ. sketch two planes R and S that intersect in line AB. To draw this sketch, first draw a horizontal plane and label it plane R. Shade this plane. Next, draw a vertical plane and label it plane S. Shade this plane in a different color. Also, use dashed lines to show where each plane is hidden. Finally, to complete this sketch, draw the line of intersection that contains points A and B. This gives you a sketch of two planes R and S that intersect in line AB. The diagram shows a juice box. Name two different planes that contain line QP. To name a plane, you can use 3 points in the plane that are not all on the same line. To find two different planes that contain line QP, first locate line QP on the diagram. Now, each plane that contains line QP will contain 2 points that lie on line QP and 1 point that is not on line QP. For example, the plane that contains points P, Q, and R contains line QP. In addition, the plane that contains points P, Q, and N also contains line QP. Because the first plane does not contain point N, these two planes are different. Therefore, two different planes that contain line QP are plane PQR and plane PQN.